Well, a man is suing the NFL because he's suffering from emotional distress, all because of the low draft pick of Shedeur Sanders. Nothing to do with the prank call. Nothing to do...
He doesn't work for the NFL.
He does not work for the NFL. He just was so distraught that Shedeur Sanders was picked in the 5th round that he cannot live his life. So he's suing for $100 million.
But how? I mean... How did the court just takes the case?
Well, the 55-year-old man who wants to be known as John Doe, so he's very confident.
Right.
He says it's projected to be a first-round pick, maybe second round, maybe top 5, and to see mediocre players be chosen before him, it was frustrating. And he's claiming the NFL owners colluded not to draft him, and it was mentally frustrating and debilitating.
How's he going to prove any of that?
He has to have an attorney take the case, right?
Yeah. Or he could represent himself, I guess. We do have our official attorney, Lisa Lanier, on the phone. Good morning, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Hey, good morning. You know, I'm not sporty at all, and I love you guys so much that when you gave me this story, Katie, I said, okay, I need to do some background research and figure out who the heck Shedeur Sanders is.
Sorry. Sorry about that.
And you know what I found out? No, it's all good. It's all good. It's good for me to do this. So I know now why he was picked number 144 in the draft. You know why? He struggled to throw the ball consistently on longer throws, so they were worried about his strength. He had poor performance in pre-draft interviews that left the teams questioning his professionalism and maturity. And there's a general perception that he's high maintenance. So there you go.
You nailed it.
You did, Lisa.
For not knowing who he was yesterday to now.
Yep.
If you were on a sports talk show, they'd be like, "Oh, she knows everything about sports."
She's been following it all along.
You nailed it. All 3. Yep.
Exactly. But so anybody can file a lawsuit. So this John Doe, this is such bogus BS. No attorney helped him. He filed it himself. He hid behind the John Doe, right? He didn't want his name out there, and he didn't even pay the $350 filing fee that you have to pay to file something in federal court. Instead, he pled that he was in forma pauperis, which means I can't afford the filing fee. And so this is going to get tossed. It is completely frivolous. It is completely bogus. And this, unfortunately, happens all the time. And when it does, the court actually gives these pro se plaintiffs much greater latitude than they would give an attorney. And so, you know, like if they miss deadlines, I mean, I've seen it play out before where somebody, I used to do insurance defense work, and I would see somebody sue on their own a bunch of bogus allegations, and they would miss deadlines, and we would file to, you know, have the case dismissed or whatever, and the judge would be like, oh, well, let's give them another 30 days. And you're like, what?
Why?
The heck? If I did that, you would boot me, right?
Right.
Well, I think they're just, you know, they're just trying, historically, they've sort of tried to give folks, you know, their access to the court and that sort of thing. I see that happening less and less frequently, and here it is just so bogus. I mean, it's so clearly bogus that my hope is that it'll be swiftly dismissed. That's what should happen.
Does he risk the NFL countersuing him and costing him some money because of the frivolous lawsuit?
Oh, he certainly does risk that, although they probably will just, you know, he's probably half a bubble off level, you know what I'm saying? And so
I've never heard that before. Lisa, that's
half a bubble off level. I love that.
Yeah, they probably just want him to go away, you know. So, I mean, they're probably not going to do that. They're probably, you know, usually they only do that where there's a deep pocket on the other side. It's another celebrity or something, and they can, you know, actually recover something. I mean, if he were to persist or try to refile it, you know, or something like that, maybe. But I think they'll be happy that he's gone, and everybody will just go their separate ways.
That's what I would imagine. Lisa, you said he filed basically saying he didn't have money, because I'm going to start using that.
It was in Latin. How do you do? What's it called?
Yeah. Oh, the in forma pauperis.
In forma pauperis.
IN space, because I know you need this. I'll spell it for you. FORMA forma. Okay, and then pauperis is PAUPERIS, in forma pauperis.
Okay, I'm going to say it in general.
Be like, what I mean is I ain't got no funds.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. You could say, when the dinner tab comes around and everybody's trying to split it,
Look, I'm in forma pauperis. It's legal. I can't. That's all I can say. You call my official attorney, Lisa Lanier. She says I cannot Venmo you or Cash App you after the dinner. Okay.
I will say, but Jared, you ordered the most expensive thing on the menu.
I know, because I'm in forma pauperis and I'm an ignoramus.
Throw a little Latin on them and they'll be spellbound. Yeah.
I think either that or they think of like a Harry Potter spell on them.
Right,
Like,
what's that?
You did what to me?
Right.
All right, Katie, you had another story about squatters?
So I think, Lisa, we've spoken to you before about squatting, like when people have taken over your home or your property. And in this particular instance, there was a man who moved into his own home where squatters had taken over just to kind of like force them out. Squatters are just a homeless population, or people who... or in between, whatever it is, they're
Isn't
staying.
That breaking into somebody's house?
Well, Lisa,
can be sometimes, right?
No, it's a whole culture in big cities, especially that have, like Chicago, where this particular story comes out of. They have very difficult very long eviction processes that can take up to 10 months, and so they basically get almost a year of free rent, right? And so because they go through this process and then finally get evicted, but they've lived there for 10 months.
So they have to live there.
And they just move from place to place and do this. And so it's terrible. And like these, so there's, I posted a link to a YouTube story about this on my social media because it's fascinating to see how this played out because after this guy, he paid them off. He paid them $4,300 cash to just get out.
Of his own house.
And give him his keys back out of his own house. Yes, because he was trying to sell it. He had interested buyers, and he was unable to sell it while it was inhabited by squatters. And so to him, it was like, look, I need to make this deal go through, so I'm going to pay you. They demanded $8,000. He negotiated them down to $4,300, paid them, got them out. Then they went to another house and started squatting again, but it just so happened that as they were trying to inhabit that house, as they were moving in, that owner saw them and had them immediately arrested before they could actually take possession of the property.
So
what was the basis of the arrest, though?
Trespassing, because if you got to catch them when they're like trying to break into the house. That's the key.
But isn't that
this guy caught them?
If you're saying that they're in the house, because I thought you just said they move in like legitimately and then they don't pay the rent and they just stay there.
Oh no! They see vacant homes.
Vacant homes.
Well,
yeah.
They see vacant homes.
Yeah.
But once they're in there and they're moved in, then they usually have fake documents. Like these people had fake documents that showed a mortgage and all this stuff. So when you call the police come and they see all the fake documents and they're like, well, how do we know who owns this house? We're not the judge and the jury, right? You're going to have to evict these people. But in the other situation, it happened kind of quickly. They were moving. They caught them moving in. They didn't have their fake documents together, so they got them. And so then now a detective is working with this guy to try to get charges in his case as well. And here's the really great thing for people in Chicago who own houses that this is happening to. A new bill is making its way through the legislature in Illinois it's already made it through the Senate. It's waiting for a vote in the House that will make a much more swift procedure for getting rid of squatters. They won't have to be evicted, and there'll be a criminal prosecution as well. So I think this will come to an end in Chicago.
Because this happens sometimes on like big ranches, right, where people will go and squat on a corner of the property that there's hundreds, if not thousands of acres, and there's a whole process to get them to leave the property. It's insane to me.
Is all the states like
and
this?
Here's a really crazy thing. Our country is actually founded on this whole principle. Every state has a version of this called adverse possession, where you can actually become the owner of property if you stay there long enough and you don't get kicked off.
Oh my
and
God.
it varies. It's usually a long time. It's usually like 20 years, but in some states it's as little as 5 years.
Wow.
And so you keep staying there, they don't kick you off, and then you can file an action for adverse possession and become the actual titled owner of that property.
So you could go to
and
like...
the same thing.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the same thing happens like a shared driveway or something. If somebody lets you, they don't let you, but you start putting like an easement, your own little easement across their property to, make a driveway to your property or something. If they never stop you and you do that for long enough, bam, adverse possession.
What about like my neighbors? We always have like one of our basketballs seem to be like just right over the line in their yard. If we just left that there, like put it in one of their bushes. After some time, could I take possession of their home?
Well, if they consented to you
They're
doing
home.
it, it's different. So you have to do it without, you have to do it in an adverse way. If they allow you and it's agreed upon, that's different.
Oh.
And that's usually an out for the homeowner. But these are people that kind of like
That's
squatters,
backwards.
but like you said, on property. Yeah.
That is so backwards
It's
because
insane.
if it's agreed upon, then it's okay. But if you just manipulate it, then then you're going to get rewarded at the property. But let me ask you, how many is all the states different as far as this whole squatter thing? And there's some states they don't have a problem with the squatters because the law is different.
It just has to do with the procedure to evict someone, and that usually is very different from one place to another. And so in some places, you might have a 14-day notice. In other places, you would have a 30-day notice that could get extended to 60 days. And it's like, whenever you evict someone, in most states, you have to file essentially a lawsuit, serve it on them, so they might dodge service. And then they can have they have a deadline for responding, but they can get that extended. So it ends up, that's why, like in Illinois, it averages 10 months to get somebody evicted, and that's why this is such a profession that these people engage in there. Well, it's crazy.
Can you just imagine how insanely mad you would be if you found that you were giving squatters in your own home money to get out?
Money.
It's outrageous.
Yes, I would be serious.
I cannot
And
fathom
this
it.
guy, he was very creative at first. He only stayed there one night, but it's not a great looking property. I think it's an investment property that he had. Like the whole front window is just boarded up, like just naturally, like that's just how they leave it. But he came there one night and he brought all of his buddies and his wife and a whole bunch of people, and they like camped out in the house to try to bother these people, and it didn't even bother them. They said the people just went in the bedroom and closed the door.
Gosh.
Maybe Jason, you and I our next business venture could be like Jared and Jason Squatters.
Yeah.
And we hire out squatters and take a
Okay.
percentage, right?
I
Like, we
don't
don't do
know.
the squatting. I mean, would that be bad
What
for
if
us?
you squatted in my house and then somehow or another we all get I don't know. We sue each
could
other
do
for
that.
money.
We could do that
Right.
in Katie's little attic area upstairs.
True.
She'll never know.
I would never know.
And then after 20 years.
I think you'd be better off searching GIS in like Wyoming for vacant property.
That's a good
I'd
idea.
rather.
All right, you're right. Or one of Kanye's houses, he just lets go.
Yeah.
And no one goes.
Right.
All right, Lisa, you're great. Thank you so much. If you're injured on the job, contact her right away. She does way more than that at hireaheavyweight.com, top 100 attorney in the country.